And welcome to PGL, where I'm joined by Odo Amne and the victorious Caps. We are 40 minutes away from the Euro final, so thank you for the fast games, I guess, Caps. Speed running into BDS. How were the games for you today?
Definitely, I think they felt cleaner than yesterday. I think we were playing very aggressive, and there were a lot of fighting in the early game. But we were winning a lot of them, so that made it easier for sure.
I feel like, although BDS was not resisting so much in the second game, fighting a lot in game one, not having the right approach. But I feel, honestly, I feel like they completely dropped the ball in game two.
Well, I think they dropped the ball in game one as well because, as Vivi said earlier, both times they swapped, G2 had great adaptation for the swap because I just felt like inherently they were getting behind from early game. They were walking at 10-15 minutes, and there's a huge discrepancy between, you know, XP levels, gold values on all of the champions, and it just felt like it was a lot easier for G2 to play. Also given the team cons, because yeah, I mean, I think you guys were kind of griefing in the second game by having, you know, Malphite versus 3 ADCs, but you know, when Hans takes the tower at minute 8, it's a little bit easier to play no matter what enemy champions what champions the enemy has. But what was your take from the lane swaps walking through, you know, going into early game and mid game? Because I felt like you guys were just always in a comfortable position.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think there's been a lot of lane swaps ever since like last playoffs, and especially at MSI we got a lot of like, yeah, just of games where lane swaps were a thing. So I think we are quite comfortable on those, and I think they really didn't want BB to have a good time with this lane swap specifically. So that ended up costing them a lot on bot, right? And I think Hans got like mega fed, so he just took over the game. And while BB was definitely quite far behind, it came at a cost, right? That could just like, yeah, put Hans in the good spot.
I mean, that's why, you know, when junglers are asking if they gank top or bot, who they should gank, and it's always bot, because bot lane is always going to carry your game. And I think at minute 8 or whatever, there was 1k gold difference between Jace and Malphite, and also between Hans and Ice, because I forgot the champions they were. And yeah, this is just proof of don't gank top. Just let us 1v1 and just go gank the pesky bot laners.
Crazy that you say things now. Things have changed. But to follow up on what Bibi was saying actually about the state of mid lane and Tristana, we asked you yesterday if Tristana has any flaws, any weaknesses. I love the answer you gave us. But
the non-answer.
The non-answer you gave us. But yeah, a bit of a busted champion, it seems.
For sure, she's quite strong, and we learned the hard way at the EWC as well, where we top picked it and we just like lost, right? So now we're picking it a bit more, and looks good.
Yeah, and I mean, you got your hands at it at MSI as well. I remember amazing plays from you against Azir.
Thank you.
Do you enjoy playing the champion?
I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun. I think she, like the buffer thing with the W is kind of OP, right? And you can definitely like limit test a lot. Like you can play very aggressive, and yeah, I think it's just the champion you can play the most aggressive on, I would say, at least from the mid laners right now. And you know, being up forward and being aggressive is always something I like, so it's a fun champ.
I want to see the ban rate and ban percentage moving into playoffs, because I feel like that's going to become mandatory on red side.
Well, I would say so, but at the same time, there's a lot of innovation coming. We saw game 1 Caps played Lucian as well, which is realistically not really a tier 1 mid laner like Corki is and Tristana is, but once Tristana, if in the case where it gets banned out, there's still Corki, there's still Lucian. For me, it's more of a thing that fleet is always nice, and you have Absorb Life, so all of these ADCs are thriving on mid, and especially the Dash champions, because this guy was completely cracked in game 1 when Lucian is not really, again, a great pick, but they have ways to make it work, and I think it just provides you good laning phase into most of the champions in the game, and the fact that you have Dash so reliably, I think it's more of a question of how OP are AD mids that have Dashes.
Question to you then.
I mean, definitely AD carry seem quite strong. I even had the S roll yesterday, so just like try. It's the pick area AD carry challenge in this playoffs, and of course I did win S split as AD carry, so I'm just relying on the old info, right?
Oh no, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, they don't know what's coming. Actually, I completely forgot about this. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun, Caps, in playoffs. It seems more AD carries that you see going on the list. I know you can't say too much, of course, but I trust you guys to try some wacky picks in scrims. But have you been trying some other stuff that we might see?
I mean, there's definitely a few AD carries left that I haven't pulled out yet. I don't know if I will pull them out, because some of them might be a bit specific. It also kind of depends on, like, especially how many bans they want to like of the other AD carries they want to ban.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's enough, you know, enough AD carries to go around.
Earlier yesterday, you told us that you would give yourself a 6.5 or 7 out of 10 grade for your performance so far. Would you like to revisit this maybe after today?
I mean, I'll give it like a half extra, so like 7 to 7.5, and then if I get a half extra every series, maybe by the end it can be a 10.
Would you agree on this?
I mean, I wouldn't agree because I would give it already more, you know, because if today was I guess a 6.5 or 7, then by the time it gets 10, it's gonna be out of this world. But you know, your start of the split was bad, you know, so I guess that is just pulling down on it a lot. But I think if you eliminate the first half of the split, it's already like way up there.
Following up on this, what made it difficult for you at the start of the split? Is there anything that you identify?
I think coming into the split, we were just, I mean, we didn't practice much, right? I think we definitely took a break after MSI, and I think we had like 3 or 4 days, which is usually more than enough for like if it's like somewhat similar, but it's just the patch completely changed, and we just had no idea what to do with all these AP junglers and like what we want to do with the meta basically. So I think we felt very out of place in the first week, and then couple that with the fact that we were just playing very poorly and we were communicating very, just poorly. I think it felt very stressful on stage, and I think people, like, we just didn't really know where to be on the map. So it was a disaster. I think it's definitely gotten a lot better. And yeah, I think today was definitely, the best games we've had, I would say. But there's still definitely some room for improvement.
I mean, it's crazy because I think you guys haven't lost a single game after week 1, right?
I mean, aside from against top, yeah. But
yeah,
because I think in LEC at least after week 1 where they went 1 and 2, they're now at like 10-0, no, 8-0, 8-0, I think, 8 or 10-0, something like that. I don't know how math works nowadays, but it's quite a ramp up, and you guys do seem like you came back to your usual form where you guys are crisp, the engages are always sticking together, you guys are finding great plays and being creative on the map because, I mean, even in that fight where you guys clean up the fight and then you TP flank with Tristana to gank the Corki mid, that's just peak G2 in a nutshell over there.
You got Kia Player of the Series actually after this one, Caps, and I know it's hard with you to rate performance because you've been so good and consistent for years. I know we had a discussion earlier this year about, are you peaking again? Do you feel like you're peaking again this year? Do you feel like ramping up through the year? You won winter, you won spring. What is your state in summer?
I mean, I think I never really like peaking because it's like, I think it has like I guess some bad juju with it in a way, because it means it's like the top like of the spot, right? And I definitely think I can always do better. I think there's been some years that I've been more happy with my performance than others, and some splits as well. But at the end of the day, you will always be remembered for like your last performance, and we did well today. But if I just end it next week and then the week after, then it's just going to be a bad like split or even year for us. So it snowballs very fast. So I think for me, I just play the games on hand. I think we have Fnatic next week, and it will be. They just broke out of their loss streak from last time we played them, so it would be great to just put them back in their loss streak.
God, vicious. Before we talk about Fnatic, actually, I have a small follow-up on this. You say bad juju, and I'm always wondering if players are superstitious. Are you superstitious when it comes to your performance?
I would not necessarily say so. I think you sometimes become a bit where you're like, oh. I think we have like whoever sits in the middle of the car seat and stuff like this. We for sure have some stuff like that. I don't know if I necessarily actually believe in it, but I think it's like fun to talk about. And I think, sometimes what you do impacts your performance, right? Like, of course, eating certain food might impact you certain ways. It's not even that it's like superstition. It's just like that might be the food that gets you ready. Yeah. So that's like a mix of things, right? And maybe I don't understand everything perfectly, but Hans was in the middle for the record today in the car, so it worked out well.
I mean, in GX we were doing this as well. When we would drive to the studio, we would remember all the configurations in the car that gave us wins and all of them that gave us losses. So we would try to dodge the bad ones at all costs. So for example, if we had G2, we had to pick a configuration in the car where I would sit in the middle or in the back seat to the left that made the most sense or that had the highest win rate, because we need to pick up, you know, and the thing is in GX we wouldn't win a lot, so that kind of sucked. So we couldn't go for.
You keep on swapping all the time.
Yeah, we had to swap all the time, and at one point we couldn't go for win rates that had 100% or combinations that had 100%. So we tried to get what had 50% win rate last time.
That's way too much work.
And then we would go into that. So you know, it's sometimes you need to get the wins wherever you can.
Yeah, an easy way to cope about the results, I guess. That's something I will ask more players, actually. I'm sure a lot of you have like superstitions like this. But following up, that concludes the upper bracket round 2. G2 and Fnatic, as we said it, will meet in their upper finals. You said you want to send them back to the depth of losing and doubting everything. Caps, how do you think this one's going to go next week? Because Fnatic, not the most convincing so far, ramping up again when we see the games that they played today. But looking at the way G2 is playing right now, I feel like it might be a one-sided one again.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Fnatic is, I mean, they're doing well, right? They have beaten now both SK and, I mean, I don't actually remember who their other series was against, but basically GX. And while I think especially the first series was a bit, you know, not the cleanest, I think they are a team that have strong players, and they, like when they play well, like they can reach the finals. I think they did that last year and also last split even. So definitely a team to look out for. And but I mean, I still think we'll beat them.
Of course, the confidence here, and with with you actually winning today, you're sending BDS in the lower brackets and SK as well. Waiting for their opponents, though. Odo, a quick take on the matches that we're gonna have: GX against Heretics and KC versus MDK.
It's do or die for these teams, because from this point on, there are season finals implications. And
MDK is in season finals, though, so I guess for them.
Exactly, but for K-Corp is trying to do the run where they're getting to top 3 to make season finals, because otherwise they can't make it. I lost my hat.
You don't have the cap,
I don't have the hat this time, so it's a bit sad. But really, really interesting for me. My match of the week is probably not going to be match of the week, but it's going to be GX versus Team Heretics, because there's a really, really high chance that the winner of that series is the one who makes it to season finals, because if MDK beats K-Corp, then the winner of Team Heretics versus GX makes season finals. So for me, that's going to be an interesting series to watch. Again, GX to GX representative right here. They're going to win as usual. They're probably going to win the split. Sorry, but MDK K-Corp is really interesting, because MDK looked really, really good even though they lost. K-Corp, signs of life, still better, still ramping up, even though they lost quite convincingly to you guys, but they did put up a fight. So how was it playing against K-Corp? Because we didn't touch on that at all.
I mean, they definitely like ganking me, so that was not fun. I think, I mean, I think they came in with a strategy, right? And I think that's already like a good start to just come in with a plan. And I think they had very clear plan, wanted to dive in very deep. Even in, I think they won Drake fight, they actually beat us in as well, where they just managed to go super deep on us. So I can definitely see that strategy they prepared, taking games of the other teams. But at the same time, I guess people also might ban it out. And now that people have seen it, maybe they can come up with solutions. I'm more on the Heretics hype train, just because, of course, of Wunder and Jankos, and I mean even Flaggett. So I'm hoping they will come in clutch in the lower bracket. We also have a bet on who finish higher, SK or Heretics, and I bet on Heretics, so I hope they will turn up.
Internal challenge for G2 here, and let's hope that your teammates can prevail here. That's all for us this week here, I guess. Odo, thank you so much for being with me in PGL. And Caps, always a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck against Fnatic next week. Once again, a matchup that we keep on seeing. Reminder, we will see you next Sunday, the last day of the week, to kick off the lower... What?
It's cool that it's the Sunday, because it's the last day of the week, because it's sunny.
Anyway, we'll see you next Sunday to kick off the lower bracket round 1. That was great. I guess good night, everyone. Have an amazing week. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Oh, guys. Butcher. Wait, are we allowed to have a window open in our room?
No, you're not.
Why not?
No way!